Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Kabayan Korner. Today, it's a very important topic because we're diving deep into a conversation that's very close to Filipinos' hearts, the opportunities and challenges faced by our Filipino nurses in working abroad. Joining us today are representatives from our DMW license agencies. Our esteemed guests from these different agencies will give us a glimpse of themselves, an introduction, and also what their agencies do in order to help Filipino nurses abroad. Okay, to start it off, maybe we can go with Camox.
Hi, so good morning, everyone. It's such an honor to be here today. So my name is Chinita Reyes. I'm a nurse myself and currently the president of Camox Philippines. And yes, very excited for this topic because, of course, being a nurse and a former OFW myself. So yeah, we've been working hard to get a lot of premium employers para matulungan natin ang mga um, nurses natin na aspiring to work abroad.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming here today. Next, we have Med Staffing.
Yeah. Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Mia Bulungan from Medical Staffing. Yes, as Miss Chinita says, we are recruiting mostly medical allied. Mostly we cater biggest is GCC countries.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. And
And good morning, everyone. My name is Angelica Marquez. I'm from Medical Staffing Resources and I'm Senior Recruitment Specialist. Thank you.
all right, thank you so much. And again, thank you so much for coming here today to talk about such a very important topic for our Filipino nurses. To our audience that are interested to working overseas, stay tuned because you'll definitely learn a lot from this conversation. Okay, the first one. Looking at the changes over the years compared to a few years ago. So from your experience, what have you guys seen in terms of the changes from maybe more than 5 years ago, and then what are you experiencing right now for our Filipino nurses? And if you maybe you can share if there are gaps that you've seen and how do you think is it being addressed right now?
So for the last 5, 8 years back, there has been a huge change. And I would say that, and I'm very happy that ngayon we are getting better salary packages, better benefits for our nurses. And I think it's going to just get even better.
Yep.
So I'm very happy about that.
Okay. All right. Maybe med staffing.
Yeah. 8 years ago, 5 years ago, we do have candidates, a lot of candidates, but right now, yes, it's have a lot of shortage due to some changes with our partnering countries. So I can say that the changes is good
Okay.
for the adaptability of our nurses, of course.
All right. Talking about compensation, that's definitely something that we want.
Mm.
Alam natin when Filipinos wanting to work abroad, it's really because they want financial stability. And of course, kung gusto mo ng mas malaking salary, you will really definitely try abroad, di ba? I think the other thing that I wanted to talk about is apart from the salary benefits, what other support does currently mga foreign employers give to our Filipino nurses na wanting to work abroad?
Yeah, so they've been going out of their way. So now it's not only about the salary and the package, but
Mm,
they are actually understanding the actual logistics that we are facing in the Philippines. Like we are mobilizing nurses from provinces. So from Mindanao, from Visayas, and the high cost of that is usually a big challenge
yes.
for our nurses. So now they're even sponsoring plane tickets from Davao to Manila, Bacolod to Manila, and even providing their meals and their hotels when they are in Manila, processing all their exams and credentialing. So, way
Wow.
better.
That's definitely something that has changed. Kasi if you are wanting to really work something out, kailangan mamuhunan. And a
Yes.
lot of times, really the puhunan is the challenge, especially for those in the provincial areas. Parang makikipagsapalaran ako to go to Metro Manila without even parang having the assurance na makakaalis ba ako? Ta's nangutang na ako ng pera para
Mhm.
pamasahe. That is actually a very, very good change.
Actually, on my end, as far as I experienced working in this agency, sobrang laking tulong nung free data flow prometric and Numaris na
Oh,
ino-offer
yes.
ng aming mga clients, most especially ng government employers namin because alam naman natin na hindi ganon kadali mag-provide ng kumbaga ng financial, lalo na kung financially unstable yung isang
Yes.
candidate. So, I think malaking bagay talaga siya for the nurses.
Yes.
So, Miss Mia?
In addition with that is clients also adapting now that no placement fee, no
Yeah.
expenses given prior to their deployment. So a big factor, especially those like what ma'am said mentioned is those coming from the provinces.
Yes.
So some of them talagang mamuhunan to go here. And then again, this opportunity that given with those partnering hospitals, it's a good opportunity as well.
All right, all right. Thanks for sharing. I think we also need to mention na yes, the opportunities are there for these nurses. Overseas employers are becoming much more flexible because they now understand the needs, especially for those that are in the provinces. I think one thing that we have to be very careful na napag-usapan din natin kanina is when you are applying and you are in the province, right? We have to be very careful as well in choosing the recruitment agency.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely for the audience, you have to make use of our platform, which is Work Abroad, or you can visit the DMW website. Camox here, for example, and Med Staffing are both legitimate agencies duly licensed by DMW or formerly POEA. So for those in the provinces, please be very careful where you give your profiles, especially if there's money involved.
Yes.
I know we're financially challenged. If there's money involved, start asking yourselves, legitimate ba to? Tama ba na binibigay ko yung pera sa kanila? So it's just a quick reminder for our audience. Let's move to the next topic regarding the demand of the Filipino nurses. Alam natin across the globe, we are really sought after for Filipinos in countries like US, Canada, even Australia, even Japan na kailangan ng language. So parang nagiging in demand talaga yung mga Filipino nurses natin. So, talking about these countries, let's talk about navigating immigration policies and paano ba makaalis ang isang Pilipino in going to these countries.
Yeah, so for immigration, which is actually, I mean, the ideal route for nurses, because of course, when you target countries where immigration policies are already polished, it's easier for them. I think Filipinos, with of course our high standard of education, we're already there. And at the same time, we have a very good passing rates in taking international exams. So we are really thriving. I would say that we are evolving also. Like US and UK, the policies are really polished already, right? So I mean, we're there. It's just a matter of really also putting dedication on what are the needed, what we need to equip. As nurses before going into like US, we need to take NCLEX as well. For UK, if you want to grab a fast opportunity, you have to be ready with your IELTS.
Yep.
So yeah, we're really thriving and evolving through time. We're catching up.
Yep, yep. Okay.
Yes, in addition with that, with Miss Chinita, is that just it's a matter of we have to uh search for the right of course the right agencies.
Mm.
And not necessarily some nurses kasi they are just, oh, we were taking NCLEX, I am a USRN. No, you're not yet USRN. So sometimes education and the education to those nurses that we have, or especially we are extending also as well. We have this marketing department that giving also answering those
Mm-mm.
questions, and also our we have this deployment department that helping them on the step by step, or the first thing that they should do on before the should do on in terms of their requirements, and taking some IELTS, and taking some on GCC. What are the things that they have to do first before the deployment itself, uh, to manage their expectations as well.
Okay, sige. So thanks for sharing, Ma'am Mac, because if you look at the navigating to what will be the requirements and all of these things, explaining the immigration policies, what are the things that I need to do before I can even go. For our audience, our agencies are definitely there to guide you and help you, educate you on what are the things that you need to prepare in order for you to basically apply for the job abroad. And then the topic on higher education, I think Filipinos are generally very good in terms of academics. The gap that we've seen, that we've talked about earlier as well, are the bridging programs, because of course different countries have different requirements. It's a matter of preparing yourself when it comes to all these exams that you would have to take, because these are the standards in other markets. I think the other thing that we also wanted to talk about is, we mentioned about big countries, the dream destinations for our Filipino nurses, right? But have you guys been seeing any emerging market now that are starting to wanting to hire Filipino nurses?
So I think the world needs Filipino nurses, and as you know, the reputation, right, of Filipinos around the world, we are the sought after in terms of healthcare delivery. And the demand is there. But recently, I've been seeing Netherlands as, taking the step forward. I mean, I'm surprised they're aggressively in the market, providing, of course, because language is another issue.
Yes.
But yeah, this is one country that I know that they've been trying so hard, but now they're taking one step forward.
Awesome, awesome. So Netherlands is another country, is it's an opportunity for us. Med staffing, any more insights?
I think Singapore.
Okay.
Because some nurses, we used to process those nurses, they prefer the Asia, because it's very convenient for them to not bringing their families, but like we have this piece of fare sales.
Yes.
It's helped them, so they will not feel like homesick, stuff like that. So yeah, Singapore is one of the.
Actually, I always say, countries that are open for in general, Filipinos that are working overseas, in terms of close proximity, Singapore is definitely
Mm-hmm.
attractive because it's just a
Yes.
4-hour flight. Japan as well, but it's just that you'd have to take like a Nihongo class. You have to be able to speak basic, right? The other country that's becoming more attractive now is Australia, because it's a 7-hour flight. So parang the close proximity to the family, because as we know, Filipinos do feel homesick, especially if you're leaving your family or you have a kid at home. So yun. So these are, thank you for sharing. At least the audience know that these are the countries that are emerging right now. And I think we talked about the demand and growth. There will always be demand for nurses, because again, we talk about nurses being sought after, because Filipino nurses are believed to be compassionate and very passionate with what they're doing. On the topic of adaptability and compassion, how do you think these traits contributed to the success of Filipino workers in this diverse healthcare ecosystem across the globe?
Yeah, so Filipino nurses are famous, with many very essential traits that I would say very much needed in the delivery of a safety and quality care. So, of course, we have resilience, right? Our hard work. But yes, talking about adaptability and our compassion. So, the adaptability of Filipinos have been very glaring, I would say. So talk about, I mean, healthcare system is diverse. Imagine for a Filipino nurse, to be able to adapt to the different needs of a patient, to a different changing policies of the hospitals. That's one. Number two is, of course, communication. Can you imagine?
Yes.
We are sending hundreds of nurses to Germany, the language and communication adaptability. And another thing that I would add, of course, is the workload. Can you imagine how we're able to adapt with the workload in Middle East?
Yes.
Something about the workload as well, working in ministry hospitals. So that's adaptability there, right? Very impressive. And of course, compassion. They always talk that what is very Filipino nurses are very well known of is what we call the TLC, the tender loving care.
Yes.
Hindi
Yes.
natin makukuha sa ibang nationality ko sa
Correct. Correct.
Pilipino lang.
Yes.
So if you think about it, when you have compassion, it fosters trust and rapport to the patient. And when you mahuli yun ng isang Filipino nurse, the collaboration is there. Your patient is very compliant. Nagiging very participative siya sa kanyang plan of care. So imagine the quality of care that we are, the optimum quality care na naaabot natin with these two innate qualities of Filipinos. And I think to add, all countries can learn from us by
Yes.
doing a values-based nursing curriculum, and of course it should be grounded by ethical
Correct.
standards in
Correct.
order for them to produce as well compassionate nurses.
That's very good. That's really something we should be very, very proud of. The TLC that we provide, regardless of gender, race, and wherever you are. I think it's very innate for Filipinos to really have that TLC. Med Safing, anything to add?
Of course, another thing is the willingness to learn.
Yes.
Even though they have we are lack we are lack of trainings and everything, but
Mm-mm.
the adaptability, the willingness and the compassion to learn, even though it's hard for them, but the willingness is still. So that's it.
In addition to that, most of my candidates, based on my experience, is they're having a hard time regarding language barriers.
Mm.
As Miss Chiquita said, ang hirap na magkaiba kayo ng lengguwahe. And
Correct.
at the same time,
Correct. Correct.
unang-una pa lang is the accent pa lang. During interviews, the accent, sobrang hirap yung mga candidates natin, but s- they're still striving and still, alam mo yun, gusto nilang intindihin kasi gusto nilang
They've been
magtrabaho.
trying to tell and deliver themselves as much as
Yes.
they wanted, but the thing is the skills of our nurses is incomparable.
Yeah.
Tama yun, tama. Parang kahit sobrang hirap na hirap ka ng intindihin, pero
Yeah.
pipilitin mo pa rin
Yes.
intindihin.
The language of their body language. That's
Correct.
the first thing that our nurses will always tell us, that, you know what, ma'am, they coming back to us, then they mentioned to us that, oh, why are you here? You didn't fit. No, I will just wanted to say thank you with you, because we already parang sinunod namin what you've been telling us to do during our deployments, during our probationary period, and it's good to know that they are successful in terms of everything when during their probationary period.
And, sorry sir, nasabi po kasi kayo ni Miss Chiquita na, yung regarding sa training ng mga, government hospitals and KSA. Actually, we have now Ministry of National Guard and KSA, and, we must say na sobrang solid ang training nila ngayon.
Who
Our
have
deployed candidates, tell us na grabe yung, incomparable talaga yung training sa.
Yeah,
Yes.
and also the
So
facilities, the machines that they have been handling with, um at
wala.
first they are hesitant, but
Mm.
with the help of those trainings, it's good. So and when it comes, they go out with a National Guard and decided to go to other countries, they have a good market value.
Actually, this is a very good segue to the next question, right? Kasi we wanted to talk about the rise of digital health as well as machinery in AI.
Mhm.
Kasi you mentioned this
Yeah, trainings.
training being provided is advanced.
Mhm.
Yes.
You get to experience these kinds of machines. And I think the question here is, how are we keeping up when in terms to competitive advantage with the changing in the advancement of technology?
Yeah, so Filipinos as well, I think we're in general, we are a little bit of a tech savvy. I mean, with the penetration of smart cell phones and of course the newer generation, I would say there's a little challenge, of course, in the previous generation, right? But now again, with the impact of technology, learning the new platforms of digital health, telecares, we get to have the access, online to be able to upgrade ourselves. And at the same time, that Philippine Nurses Associations and a lot of nursing organizations in the Philippines are so active, in creating forums and exhibitions, about tech. So Filipinos are very much there and evolving through navigating the new world of technology in the application in the healthcare setup natin.
So it's great to hear na it's not just about the clinical skills, but there's also tech adaptability. And as we know, Filipinos are highly adaptable. So
Yes.
regardless whether it's technology, additional skills, additional training, we're always on the go. We always up our game to make sure that we can keep up.
What is good with our Filipino nurses is they're just not adaptability. They wanted to explore as well because aminin natin we are left behind in terms of other trainings or other equipments that other countries given to them.
Kaya lagi po namin sinasabi sa mga candidates namin, once na nandun na po kayo, most of our first-timer candidates, we always, tell them na if you have the chance to took that training, go for it. Kasi, lalo na po 'pag American Health, iba po talaga yung,
The facilities
yes,
itself,
and
it's good.
yeah.
It's an additional skills with them.
Mm.
Not they cannot taken away from them.
Okay.
Aside and not only for just being the certificates, but the skills itself.
Correct, correct. So we know that there is demand for Filipino nurses across the globe, but we've also seen locally in the news, um, there's this clamor that we need nurses in the hospitals as well. Infrastructure wise, I would believe there are hospitals being built, especially in the provinces. But what people are saying that we lack nurses. Where are the nurses now? So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so if we base it on statistics, we are actually producing a lot. But at the same time, the world has changed where there are also a lot more options for them now than before. So maybe 20% of them are in BPOs, maybe 5% are taking time,
Yes.
10% is more on reviewing. They while their knowledge is still fresh, they're trying to review already for their foreign exams. They're not very keen to go to Saudi Arabia right away or um, process or go to another country right away. And BPOs are also offering a very attractive packages. So yeah, there's a lot. But at the same time, they are very scattered and everyone have different priorities. So yeah.
Yeah, because nurses sometimes nurses just wanted to become a nurses because they wanted this country. You go to this specific country.
Correct.
But I just wanted to tell them that if you really wanted to become a nurses, you have to go to the step that you could a step or a skills that you could enhance the skills aside that we you have learned from school. Of course, you have to go to a specific facilities that could enhance your skills in terms of your clinical areas
Yes.
because nowadays we have a lot of shortage, oh yeah, shortage again for those other clinical areas like long term,
Yes,
yeah,
acute care.
especially yeah, acute care because some of our nurses they always mention to us that if you are a newbie in or a new employee in the hospital, they will put you on the OPD. They will not give you right then and then in the acute care, which is we understand as well. But of course, try lang nila to polish or enhance their skills in a specific facilities that could give them an opportunity to that after that experience they can explore with other countries or they can stay here.
That's a good insight. Actually, if you look at it as well, we talk about shortages. We mentioned na wala naman talagang shortage, just that there's so many options. Each candidate also has a preferred country. Parang if you talk to a certain candidate, sasabihin niya, ay, naka-zoom in ako. UK lang talaga yung gusto. So it's a matter of us educating. So how can you get to UK? Pero titingnan din natin yung aspect na ano ba yung need mo right now, 'di ba? So
Mhm.
parang which country is much more open, much more relaxed maybe in terms of the requirements. And I think one thing that we can look at is Middle East
Yes,
for nurses. They're
agree.
much more, I would stay stable kasi mas nauna sila when it comes to hiring Filipino nurses. So
Yes, and also nowadays KSA, and I'm sorry, Medicine, as they are doing also home care and in the facility as well. We do have clients right now that catering, getting nurses who's willing to work in a home,
Home-based.
home base, but
yes.
the home base itself, if they have to educate and so that there are some hospitals given that opportunity, and it's a good opportunity because a lot of clients right now that even though you are not they are not requiring experience compared with the special critical
Mm,
area.
mm.
So for as long as you are willing to be trained once you are deployed.
And we know Filipinos are willing, always willing.
Always willing.
Yeah, and to add to that, like what was mentioned earlier, so it depends on your preference, right? Second is really about your current status. So when you're talking about you're a family, you have a family, you have children to provide, I would say Saudi Arabia is also really a best stepping stone. You get to be deployed fast. You get to address, your immediate needs of your family here in the Philippines, and you are not at loss. Like there's a lot of areas you can work in, and you can take this 2-year contract to build yourself, to
Correct.
prepare for your next country where you aim to immigrate. So yeah, Middle East, Saudi Arabia, they offer very competitive packages, and they would even offer a lot of a good package for those with very less experience
Yes.
and not on the special areas. So good stepping stone.
Very good. Very good.
Yes, and in addition with that, we in KSA we currently have this clients offering yearly vacation, and then after that you finish the 2-year contract, they have this 6 months. You can go back here with free tickets back
Back
going
and
home
forth.
and back and forth.
Oh,
So
that's
it's
nice.
a good opportunity with them, right? So if they wanted also to go here after 6 months, after 1 year, so the best thing is KSA.
That's very good because we know that there is actually stigma when it comes to Middle
Mhm.
East. Coming from the news and the experiences that we hear in the past. But I think over the years, a lot has changed already, right? We're becoming much more educated as
Yes.
well.
Yes, because sorry, because now in Middle East they are adapting also the new generation. They also before their like mga female, they are
Mm.
not allowing to drive, they are not allowing to
Yes.
go. So they are now more on a modern side, they adapt that. So there are some, especially those nurses coming from the province. I'm not saying that they're not educated. Is that just we cannot remove from them their fears,
Yes.
because their knowledge about Saudi Arabia.
Correct.
Saudi Arabia now is a good country.
Correct. Correct. I think that's one thing that we want to advocate for as well. Trying to educate the audience in overcoming the fear of
Here.
going to a certain country. It's good that you're always on your toes because it's a foreign country. You do your research, you do your preparation, right? But what we're saying is Saudi Arabia is becoming much more open. I think a lot has changed over the years. Comparing it to now, it's very, very different. There are things that you can do now that you cannot do before. Um, and I think this is also rooted to because they're wanting foreign workforce, they're hiring nurses, 'di ba? So parang they also basically have to adjust to cater to the foreign workers.
Yeah, and also Saudi Arabia has become so welcoming. They are actually really understanding, the culture of Filipinos, what makes us happy, what do we do on our days off. I went to Saudi Arabia and they were like, we're doing karaoke until 3 a.m. And I'm like looking at the window. I'm like, oh, they didn't care. We're Filipinos. They know this is our free time. So yeah, it's a whole new world where many millions of Filipinos found home actually.
This has been such an insightful discussion. Before we wrap up, of course, we want to get your advice for our audience or aspiring nurse who wants to start their dream, their job working overseas.
Yeah, so being in this field for a long time and being a nurse as well, an OFW nurse, I have seen also, that now you have better opportunities. And with the technology, you have to exhaust the resources in front of you. You are very lucky. You have the work abroad right now here. Of course, we have our own social media presence. Exhaust all this, to try to find the best option that will work for you. So it's more on really checking, reading, doing your research, and of course, understanding what you want and where you're headed at. And at the same time, preparation. Preparation is everything. So that's my advice. You have to plot your journey. You must have a good plan on what you are going or what are the exams or the credentials that you need to do if you aspire to go to that certain country. So good luck, fellow nurses.
Yes. And what we have in our agencies right now is, yes, planning is the first thing that you should do, so that and also you have to have a plan A, plan B,
Mm.
because it's not works in this specific country that you wanted to go to. There's this advices. We are open also, and willing to entertain all the queries and all the questions, especially those what is the first thing that you should do, if especially if you are applying in KSA.
Mm.
So the step and step during your application, you just have to check and be vigilant as well. Of course, in choosing your agencies, because there is a lot of um uh fake accounts that rampant in our internet nowadays. So you have to be very very careful. You can with we're very thankful with the help of work abroad. We are they are extending their big help with us on an agency, and we have also given they given a good opportunity with not only with our nurses, but of course with our agencies as well.
All right, that's definitely solid advice. My key takeaway is number one, planning is super important because living a life outside your home country is going to be challenging. But again, if you do your research, I think it's going to be okay. And of course, our agencies are there to help you, educate you, and navigate your way into the different policies, immigration, preparations, exams that you would have to take. Number two is be very, very vigilant. We all know there's a lot of fake accounts, as mentioned earlier. Scams are everywhere. Just be very curious as to why is this person asking for money. I mean, there are tools available that you can definitely use. You have the DMW website, you have the Work Abroad platform to check for legitimate agency, or you have the social media channels of your recruitment licensed recruitment agencies, right? And I think the third one really is keeping an open mind, having the plan A, plan B mindset. So if you're zooming into a specific country, that might not happen now, but you have to create that stepping stone. So as mentioned earlier, Saudi Arabia is much more open. I think you can go there faster than any other countries. So that would be a very good stepping stone for you. Again, this has been very insightful. Thank you so much again for our esteemed guests from the two partner agencies that we work with. To our listeners, if you're interested in working overseas, be sure to check out workabroad.ph and with our partner recruitment agencies. Stay informed, stay safe, and we take your journey a successful one. Thank you and see you in our next episode.